everyone, it's 10th of April and I've had a bit of a sort of a last minute decision. I'm going to put this row of peas that seems to be doing exceptionally well in the gutters, I'm going to actually put them in situ today, so they're not going down the allotment. So what I've done, got a little there's a bit of patch of garden at this end here that it's a bit tatty, it's where compost bins are, but because peas are a vertical crop they don't really get in the way too much. I've sort of gone a little tiny border space. It's about 6-8 inches wide. This just got some old sort of semi-rotten wood just to edge it. You don't have to, you know, for those of you who've never done them before, you know, and this thing that's going on at the moment, you know, if you can pinch a bit of lawn and fine, you know, because the grass will grow back once you know, hopefully when all this is over, just level it off and let the grass sort of spread of its own accord, or put some turf on top or seed. So I just basically took the top layer off, so like top 2 inch with the grass roots in it, and now I'm going to put them in my compost bin. But if you haven't got a compost bin, when you take the top off, put it to one side and then bury it upside down, deeper down in it. So basically take like a, you know, 5-6 inch deep amount of soil out, put your top bit in upside down and then fill it back in again. You don't need any compost, but if you've got any old plant pots with bits and bobs in that you're not bothered about anymore, the compost, throw that in there. Some grass clippings, not too many grass clippings mind you, so you can just hardly see them mixed amongst the soil, you know, otherwise it'll get a bit sloppy and they can burn the roots, but it will lighten the soil and give a bit of feed. But and then just basically make a little hollow. In this case I just walked on it, you know, to put an indentation just to pack it back down again, you know, because it's been dug, this area here, you know, I dug it just before. But you don't have to do all that. You could probably get away with just taking a layer of turf off and dumping your peas down, really. You can plant them direct, but if you have problems with mice or birds, they'll come and nick them. So you know, a lot of us YouTubers end up putting them in gutters, even though I've still had a lot on the other ones. Mice keep having a go, summer keeps having a go, so they're a bit patchy. So I thought, well, I'm not going to take just one good one down to the plot, you know, and it's going to get hard to look after this now because it's just drinking water all the time. I thought these can go in at this end. I'm not putting anything here. There is never anything here anyway. So they get about, you know, 4 foot high, something like that. So I'll have to make a bit of a support. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm going to use some netting if I can find some. If not, just a series of canes, you know, a couple of foot apart, and just put some string across it. You know, it doesn't have to be horizontal. It could just be a mass of diagonals or whatever, because it'll latch on. And then as it grows, you can just put a bit of string around the front of it, you know, and in probably from when you sow them, it's like 80 to 100 days, and then you'd be ready for harvest. So they're pretty low maintenance once they're in. You know, you just need to make sure they're not drying out. You know, the soil is damp. You can always like to poke your finger in, you know, and if it feels cold and damp, then that's enough, because it'll force the roots to go deeper down. So if you're going to do them in the gutters, fine, but to get them out of the gutter, it can be a bit hit and miss. It's going to be tricky because I haven't got any room to really slide the gutter out, so it's a bit hit and miss this. So we shall just have to see how we get on. But the first thing you've got to do is you've got to really flood them with water to help them sort of lift and come out of the gutter. So don't think you're going to drown them or anything, you know, but just if you have to put like, you know, a good half to full watering can on, then so be it. It'll help it all slide out. Just leave that a minute to soak. Now I've got tape on the ends of this gutter, just a bit of duct tape, but you don't have to. I'm just going to try and peel this off. That's hopefully going to be the end it'll slide out of. Like I say, it's going to be a little bit hit and miss, you know, with the slide out easy, but usually they do. But like I say, I haven't got much room behind me here. Let's move some of this wood so it's not going to be getting in my way. But it's just a bit of a dumping ground this end of the garden, so it's always a bit of a nightmare to get in and mow. Thought, well, you know, I mean, it's 5 foot row of peas, so if they do all right, you know, I'll get a fair few meals off it anyway. You know, and what you don't use, you can bag up and put in the freezer. So So say it's never been treated, this ground or anything. You know, it's just bog standard, whatever's under your lawn. This soil, now all I've done when I pulled it out to the wheelbarrow, I just smashed it about with a spade a bit. Like I say, it's just making a bit of an indentation in it for your gutter to sort of slit, you know, sit in there. You know, if you haven't got any garden tools, don't worry about it, put a pair of gloves on or something, or just whatever you have to use, dustpan and brush thing, you use a little shovel of that if you have to, doesn't matter. So you don't need all the fancy stuff to get by. There's plenty of other ways you can just figure it out. Well, fingers crossed, should come out. I'm just hoping to dump that down that end and hopefully start to slide them out. Like so. And then it's just a case of I've no trowel, so I'll use the old-fashioned way. That's my hand. I've no trowels that I've operated on, so I've just got a bit of soil that's left over. It's just a case of making sure. I mean, it probably won't need any, to be honest, but say if you want, you can always go along and just lay some soil along it. Like I said, the only main reason I've got this piece of wood here is to stop, it's just something to strim to. It just kind of puts a bit of a tidy edge on it, you know, so it doesn't all keep falling out. Obviously, now it's been dug and everything, it's a little bit higher than the garden, but it will sink down. You know, it's not the best soil, it's a bit stony. The labels, Hurst Greenshaft variety. I know some people are struggling to get seeds now, but any peas, just follow the instructions on the back. You know, if they're only tiny, you might not need so much supports. People use like tree clippings, little branches and twigs, but a lot of them they'll latch onto them. Guess to go along and just tidy it up a bit. And all I've got holding this plank back here, I've got 2 bits of cane just tapped in the ground. And you can, if you want, put some compost down the back, or soil, whatever you want, whatever you're using. Like I say, you know, this doesn't have to be perfect, you know, because once they've had like a week or 2 to settle in, you'll see them suddenly start chumping on the growth, and then they'll be fine. But this is, you know, this is a really thick row, this, so I wouldn't advise sowing them this dense. I'd do them a couple of inches apart, so if you haven't got many seeds, use them sparingly. You know, because if you sort of bank on 100 days till harvest, you could probably say in about another 70 to 80 days, sow another gutterful. So when you take your plants out, you've got another batch ready and waiting to go in, which will give you a harvest maybe September or something like that. And then when they're cleared, you can grass seed it in September if you don't want to keep the border. And then just give it a final bit of a water. So there's plenty of water in that compost to tide them over, but this is just to settle the soil. Like I said, just put some supports on it, a couple of canes with some strings or a little bit of netting, and that's it. That's as easy as it is. And just as soon as your pods start and they feel like quite fat, you know, just open a few for a tester, and then they're nice straight off the plant, to be honest. But you'll start seeing flowers in a few weeks, and they're going to obviously inevitably turn to your pods. Right, so that's the peas. So thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe. See you next time, bye.